Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be when you're in it, you can't see it. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please subscribe and pay it forward. Share this video with someone who could use the educational content. So I'll jump right in. When you're in it many times, first of all, it's too late. And I'm referring to the narcissistic abusive cycle. You did not know what narcissism was. You weren't taught this in school. You're getting the wisdom and the education on my channel. You're coupling that with your experience. You're understanding now that many times the path is to go no contact, block these individuals, remove all people associated with them, including flying monkeys, and begin living your best life. But if that's not you yet, I understand. If that is you, please drop comments below and help the newbies out. All you veterans, please share your wisdom with the people in the community. Now, having said all these things, when you're in it, many times you're experiencing some of the worst, horrific, toxic behavior day in and day out, and you can't identify what this behavior is. I'll tell you why, because you don't have the glossary of terms. You don't have the definitions of terms, i.e. gaslighting, the smear campaign, flying monkeys, stonewalling, the silent treatment, object constancy, rage fits, blame shifting. There's a massive list of definitions you're going to need to understand to learn, if you will. And that's what my channel is all about. It's educational and helping you get across the bridge to my side, to the pinnacle of indifference, where you just don't care about the narcissist. You drown them out. You wish them the best of luck. Just stay away from me. Now, as I mentioned so frequently on the channel, the healing path is not linear. Remember, if you are on the healing path, as most of us are in the community, we are all headed in the same direction, simply taking different footsteps. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon. But getting back to the thumbnail, when you're in it, you can't see it. It's because most likely you were isolated. Let's say that the narcissist was a parent, as an example, and it's just the two of you living together. Well, and maybe there's a full family there, who knows, but the point is you're experiencing their poor behavior day in and day out. And you are most likely being manipulated or being abused or being told that you should be helping out because blood is thicker than water, etc. There's a whole list of things there. And the point is, you thought that that was a stable relationship, or you thought that perhaps your parent was maybe not the parent of the year, but they were okay. And then what did you do? Perhaps you went to college and you associated with other individuals and their upbringing was completely different than yours. And there you go, bing, 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 light bulb moment. And you're like, wait a minute, I thought something was wrong with my parent or parents. Wasn't quite sure, but I didn't know what it was. And now I'm going to a friend's house for Thanksgiving, let's say Thanksgiving break when you're at university, and you go there and then you see how these people interact and you're like, wait, that's nothing like my household was. What's going on? And then you go down the rabbit hole and you figure it out. You find that needle in a haystack and you understand that, oh my goodness, there is toxicity all in my family. Maybe it's a parent or both. Maybe it's your sister or brother, who knows? But what I'm sharing is eventually most people, not everybody, but a lot of people get the wisdom. Now, what you do with the wisdom is you have to figure out if you're going to apply it or if you're going to turn a blind eye and still tolerate the poor behavior. That's up for you to decide. The way I suggest things on the channel is if you get the wisdom and you actually have done the deep dive and you've healed childhood wounds and you've journaled and talked to a therapist who unfortunately had to experience the narcissistic abusive cycle, and you've meditated and watched videos and read and everything, if you've done all that work on yourself, first of all, that's a great thing, A+ for you. But second of all, you owe it to yourself to help yourself out and not be guilted into staying in any relationship that you do not believe serves you. That's my take. But again, each and every one of us are different. Each and every one of our circumstances are unique. So I understand that perhaps you could utilize Grey Rock and just go not share much information about yourself and keep the narcissist at bay, if you will. But getting back on track, when you're in it, you can't see it. And the reason why is because it's already too late and you didn't have any reference points, any examples to compare your relationship with. You didn't. Maybe it was a romantic relationship. So let's say as an example, maybe your first romantic relationship was with a toxic narcissist. Well, you didn't have any romantic relationship to compare it with. So that is a huge disadvantage for you, number one. But number two, the narcissist, let's be real, most likely they have expertise in the romantic field, if you get my point, because they have numerous sources of supply frequently. And they knew and sized you up. They figured you out what made you tick, and they said, wow, this one's going to be great. This one will be my partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whomever, spouse, potentially mother, father to my kids, and I will slowly extract their resources from them. Essentially, what I will do is I'll keep them isolated in our own house, and I will make sure that they don't accomplish their goals, dreams, hopes, aspirations, and they will be stuck inside the house enduring the abuse day in and day out, while I perhaps go out gallivanting the globe, earning some money, squirreling it away, and keeping everybody away from my supply, i.e. my spouse. Understand it. This is exactly what happens day in and day out. The narcissistic relationship is unlike any relationship you've ever experienced. It is a relationship destined to fail, if you will. It's a relationship waiting to implode, because each and every relationship has an expiration date, as I mentioned. It's just a matter of time when you figure it out or the narcissist discards you. Understand the message. But when you're in it and you don't know what you're up against because you weren't taught it in school, and nobody was using these words back when you were in these relationships. The words are becoming more and more prevalent now, but you didn't know what you were up against because you felt like you were isolated, and that's where the narcissist placed you. Remember, after the euphoric stage, or after the beginning of the relationship, the narcissist placed you in the devaluation stage, i.e. the narcissistic fog. That's where they wanted to keep you, just like a Barbie doll or a Ken doll, and they wanted to take you down off the shelf and play with you whenever they wanted to, which means maybe give you a breadcrumb of hope, or a breadcrumb of love bomb, whatever you want, or a little bit of happiness, fake happiness sprinkled throughout a month, and then they put you back up on the shelf and abuse you, gaslight you, give you the silent treatment, tell you that you're not any good, that you won't amount to anything, that they should have never married you, that your mom never thought you should get married anyway, that he or she should have never married you anyway. Get my point? All of these things so many seeds of doubt will be planted within your mind throughout the body of the relationship, that your head will be spinning. And when you hear, let's focus on gaslighting for a moment. When you're being gaslit virtually day in and day out, or multiple times a week, and you have only one individual who is telling you this, but that individual is who you spend most of your time with, and they're constantly berating you, constantly telling you that your version of reality from the past, or even the present, isn't real, and that what they say goes. You start to believe these words. Yes, you really do. And when you believe these words, what are you doing? Well, I'll tell you, you're becoming a shell of yourself, and you're becoming an extension of the narcissist, and you are losing your identity. That's what happens. That's what the narcissist wants. They want you doing their bidding for them. They want you working for them. They want you being their sounding board. They want you giving up your resources, your time, your money, your energy, your empathy, your love. Everything is what they want from you, and they want to give you nothing in return. The narcissistic relationship is transactional. You need to understand that it is not based on love. There's no love in a narcissist. They don't have love, and they have zero empathy. They care about one person, which is not you. It's themselves. And the other thing they care about is getting one over on you, believing that they are better than you, that they're more intelligent than you, that they're more beautiful than you, that they have more value than you, that they want to put themselves high up on the pedestal, having you pump them up while to the detriment of yourself. That's what they want to do. And throughout the body of the relationship, this was happening, and you couldn't see it because you were in it. Think about this. Let's put narcissism to the side for a minute. Let's say one of your friends calls you up and says, hey, let's grab a cup of coffee. I've got a couple of concerns I want to run past you and get your advice or your counsel, or what's your opinion on these things. And you meet them, again, not a narcissist, and you just have a cup of coffee, and they throw a couple things at you, like they're having concerns here, here, and here. And you're like, well, okay, I understand what's going on there. I think with this one, you should do A, with this one, you should do B, and this one, maybe you want to do C. But you just give them your wisdom. And what do they do many times? They're like, oh my gosh, I never thought of it that way. You're right, that makes sense. Hey, thanks a lot. And they go improve their life or their circumstances. That is why when you're in it, now, the reason you can give that counsel and that wisdom is because you're not in it and you can see things clearly. Now apply that same mentality to the narcissistic relationship. When you're in it, you have anything but clarity. You can't see what's going on. You don't know what's going on. You just know that the behavior is getting worse and worse over time, but yet you have nowhere to turn. Again, you weren't taught this. You didn't know what was going on. You couldn't talk to your friends and say, hey, it's kind of interesting because behind closed doors, I'm getting all these strange behaviors thrown at me, like I'm being yelled at for no reason, or my spouse isn't talking to me for 2 days in a row. If you told that to your friends back then when you were in the relationship, they would say, what are you talking about? That person, every time I see them, they're great. What do you mean? You have it made. Everything's good. Not so fast. That's why if you haven't experienced the toxic narcissistic relationship, you can't wrap your head around it. You can watch the videos, read the books, you can talk to a therapist, you can do whatever you want to do. But if you didn't experience it firsthand and go through the roller coaster of emotions of the abuse, the different layers of abuse, and had to put yourself back together, you can't wrap your head around it. You can say you do, but Experience is everything when it comes to narcissism, and unfortunately, there are many of us in the community that have experienced it firsthand, but we're getting stronger, wiser, becoming awakened and aware, educated and empowered. Remember, those of us that are empaths, or those of us that have a high level of empathy, or even a little bit of empathy, we are now becoming the educated empath, which means we don't just help people out because they ask us to or because we can. We help people out when our cup is full, and if it is in a reciprocal relationship. In other words, if the same individual we are considering helping, they can help us back. Understand that. Or if we believe that our time is warranted to help them out. But we don't do it just at the drop of a hat anymore. That's what we did when we met the narcissist. That's most likely how we fell prey to the narcissistic relationship. Most likely we were a people pleaser, a yes person, couldn't learn or say the strongest word in the English language, which is no. Remember, when you say no to something or someone, you are saying yes to yourself. And we did not have boundaries. Now we have boundaries. And now if individuals want to get closer to us romantically, friendship-wise, business, people in communities or organizations, they're gonna have to jump through hoops to get to us. Is that saying that we are better people? Absolutely not. We're just human beings. But what we are bright shining lights. And we are people with positive energy that was taken for us from a period of time, which was the length of the narcissistic relationship. That will not happen ever again, I can assure you. That's why you're on the channel. That's why you're getting the wisdom. And that's why when you were in it, you couldn't see it. It wasn't your fault. You were manipulated. You were sized up and you were taken advantage of. Your kindness and your empathy was taken as a weakness. I can tell you right now, it 100% was. Because if the narcissist, again, if they had given you a 2-page report, said read this and then decide if you want to enter the relationship with me, and that report filled out exactly what they are and who and what they will do to you, you would have never signed on the dotted line. You would have said thank you, but no thank you. There are 8 billion people on the planet. I can find a relationship somewhere else. But that's not what the narcissist did. They came into your relationship under cloak and dagger, under disguise, wearing a mask, manipulating you, promising you the moon and the stars, future faking, if you will, saying you are the twin flame or the soulmate or the love of their life, or you complete them, or you're the yin to their yang, all these things. And what happened? None of it was true. It was all smoke and mirrors. It was one of those people that sells snake oil back in the 1800s. It was nothing but a Ponzi scheme, nothing but a con job. It's exactly what it is. The narcissist is a con artist, I'll tell you right now. They find ways and twist ways, they twist narratives, they find ways to get your money, to blow up relationships, to drive wedges between you and anything and or anyone that is important to you. That's why the path is to remove yourself from these relationships, if not now, when? But understand the message. When you're in it, you can't see it because you don't know what you're up against. You most likely were duped into thinking that you were in a stable, healthy relationship and you were both headed in the same direction. Nothing could have been further from the truth. You now know that narcissism does walk the planet and that perhaps you were in a narcissistic relationship for a period of time. Maybe even your parents were and or are narcissistic and you had to learn that way. That's a whole different video because your childhood was not what you thought it was and your childhood wasn't what it could have been. Different video. So guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon. Stay true, stay blessed. Continue to become awakened and aware and understand that you are the priority. You come first, second, and third. Guys, remember, when you were in it, you couldn't see it. So don't blame yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be fortunate and be grateful that you're out of it or getting out of it and that you're healing. When you heal and you cross that, you get up to the mountaintop, the pinnacle of indifference, when you just don't care about anything about the narcissistic relationship, meaning you've learned from it, but you're not ruminating, you're not thinking about it. You wish them the best of luck, just stay away from me. When you get there and you've healed properly, believe me, you'll see the world through a brand new set of eyes, a galvanized set of eyes, and you will enter the third version of you, the strongest version of you known to humankind. Remember this, guys, no matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. You are not alone. God bless you, I love you, and I will talk to you tomorrow. All right, have a great afternoon wherever you guys are. I love y'all. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.